Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Foreclosure Help 777, where we talk about everything foreclosure related. This is my private Facebook group. Currently we have 229 members. We are all in foreclosure or have fought foreclosure. Maybe we've won and maybe we've settled out of court. In my case, I settled out of court with the bank. Some people are still in foreclosure after 10 years, 20 years, whatever. But we all share information, useful information with each other on how to fight these banksters and win. So let's take a look at Lisa Spangler's case and get an update on her situation. And she's out of Virginia, Western Virginia. If you go to Pacer, you can look her up, and her case number is 724CV00835, and it's Spangler versus U.S. Bank, N.A. And if you just kind of go through here, just to give a quick recap, they removed it from state to federal court November 27, 2024. They filed a motion to dismiss. She filed a response. The judge issued a report and recommendation trying to dismiss certain claims, others with prejudice and some without prejudice. Then she tried to leave to file an amended complaint to cure those. And then the judge issued an order on judgment on the pleadings on July 10th, 2025. So let's take a look quickly at that order and see how the judge ruled. If you look at the end of this, you can see how the judge ruled under the conclusion section. I think sometimes skipping to that first and then reading the beginning makes it easier to understand why she came to the conclusions that she did. But basically, you can see that she's saying it is accordingly ordered and adjudged that the magistrate judge report recommendation is adopted in its entirety. Defendant Rosenberg and Associates motion to dismiss for failure to state a claim is granted. Defendants U.S. Bank and SPS, that stands for Select Portfolio Servicing, motion for judgment on the pleadings is granted in part and denied in part. Spangler's motion for leave to file an amended complaint is denied as to the proposed amended complaint. This action is dismissed without prejudice as to Count 1 FDCPA 1692E and G to all defendants, Count 1 FDCPA 1590 or 1692D for U.S. Bank and Rosenberg and Associates, Count 2's real estate or RESPA to Rosenberg, Count 4's breach of contract claim to all defendants. Count 5's truth in lending to Rosenberg and Associates. This action is dismissed with prejudice to Count 2, RESPA against U.S. Bank and SPS. Count 3, claim for injunction as to all defendants. Count 4, breach of implied faith and good and fair dealing claim to all defendants. Count 5's truth in lending to U.S. Bank and SPS. Count 5's fraud claim as to all defendants. Count 6 quiet title claim as to all defendants. This action against Rosenberg and Associates is dismissed without prejudice except as to the claims enumerated above for which the action is dismissed with prejudice. This action against U.S. Bank is dismissed without prejudice except to the claims enumerated above for which action is dismissed with prejudice. This action will continue as to plaintiff's claim in Count 1 under 15 U.S.C. 1692D against defendant SPS. Spangler is given leave to file an amended complaint within 14 days of this dismissal as to the claims that the court dismissed without prejudice. Okay, so basically the judge is saying she can file an amended complaint and only argue the claims that were not dismissed with prejudice. So let's take a look at what her amended complaint is going to look like when she files this. Okay, so she has her cover page and her table of contents. Let's look at that real quick. She's got a preliminary statement, parties, jurisdiction and venue, factual allegations, cause of action, FDCPA, breach of contract, Count 3 RESPA, Count 4 TILA and Reg Z. And those are all the claims that she could still argue, which were dismissed without prejudice. And just to kind of go through this real quick, I can go through the, let's go through the preliminary statement real quick so you can see how that looks. Plaintiff Lisa Spangler, proceeding pro se, files this First Amendment complaint pursuant to the court's order dated July 9, 2025, which granted her leave to replead certain claims dismissed without prejudice. This action arises from the alleged wrongful debt collection practices and misrepresentations by defendant Select Portfolio Servicing, U.S. Bank Trust Company, N.A., U.S. Bank, and Rosenberg and Associates, Rosenberg, related to the servicing and attempted foreclosure of plaintiff's mortgage loan. Plaintiff alleges only the cause of action the court dismissed without prejudice and found potentially curable, including violations of the FDCPA 1692D, E, F, G, breach of contract, res ventilla. Plaintiff has revised and supplemented her factual allegations and claims to address the deficiencies identified in the court's July 9, 2025 order and the magistrate judge report and recommendation. And then it goes through pretty much the same stuff that was in the original complaint. You have the parties listed, you have the jurisdiction and venue listed, legal description. Factual allegations are pretty much the same as the first one, tailoring it down a little bit to only go over the claims that she's allowed to go over. And so, like the first cause of action, FDCPA against U.S. Bank N.A. Rosenberg 15 U.S.C. 1692D against all defendants for 1692E and 1692G. And as you can see, this is properly formatted. And she goes over each one to explain how they violated each one. We won't go over all this right now, but if you guys want to see what this looks like, you can send me an email. And she goes over and explains how they violated each thing. Damages, request for relief. Count 2, breach of contract against all defendants. Again, the same thing, properly formatted, going over how they breached the contract. And then you got the next section, which is, well, let's see here. RESPA, Real Estate Settlement Procedures Act, RESPA, against Rosenberg and Associates. And then you have TILA, Federal Truth in Lending, TILA and Reg Z against Rosenberg and Associates. And then you have the conclusion, prayer for relief, and then you have your exhibits, verification, Exhibit A. Okay, and these are all the exhibits that are with the complaint as well. Okay, and so that pretty much goes over Lisa Spangler's amended complaint. The other thing I wanted to show you guys was if you want to become a member of Foreclosure Help 777 on the Facebook group, you can send me a message if you can't get in this group, and you have to be in foreclosure or in that situation. Not anyone can just get in this group. But if you do go in this group and you want to look at the files and media here, just click where it says files, and you'll see there is all kinds of goodies here for you guys to look at. These are all PDF files. There's a Arizona quiet title, how to stop foreclosure, foreclosure guide. There's motions to dismiss. There's Carrington's appeal brief in here. We got Nation Star, mortgage consent order. We have some notice to cease and desist in case you guys need any of these files or look at any of these files. They're very good and will help you. There's a RICO guide if you're into RICO. Some other good cases here that we tucked in here for you guys to read. Robo litigation, that's a good one. The David J. Stern case and the Stephen J. Baum case are also good. These are foreclosure law firm mills that break the law. Carrington's federal complaint is in here in Word format. Some discovery in here, guys. U.S. Bank, role as trustee, that's a good one. Maxims of Law by Charles Wiseman is good. And as you can see, there's just so many things here to look through. Sabrina's complaint is in there. The Lynn Simoniak stuff is in here. Sanctions is in here. Lindsay versus Wells Fargo, that's a good one, out of Florida. Motion and Lamine, that's a good one. So you see there's all kinds of stuff that can help you if you're in this situation. So that's pretty much it for today, guys. If you have any questions or comments, you can leave them in the comment section below. If you have questions specifically, you can send me an email. My email address is foreclosurehelp777@gmail.com. And I hope everyone has a blessed day.